Hi everyone, Sanjeev here. We all know the importance of starting small and thinking big, and our today's guest is true example of someone starting small, continuously learning, taking action, and growing. So let's get into this episode. Welcome, Swadish. How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks, Sanjeev. How are you, mate?
Now, very good. Good to have you, buddy.
Thanks to having me here today, mate.
Now, pleasure. So, buddy, as usual, should we start with who you are, where you come from, what you do?
So, we actually live in Sydney. I'm an IT professional. The wife is an IT professional as well. We have two kids. Look, we actually love traveling, and we run our own travel blog as well, as you'd have seen from my status messages and whatnot. Look, uh, we will anyways talk about it later today, mate. And again, thanks for having me here today.
Okay, cool. Now, and so you live in Sydney. So when did you came to Australia, by the way?
Fairly new compared to your guests so far. So 4 years before.
4 years before. So where were you before, buddy?
So we are originally from India, Sanjeev, and we were both me as well as the wife were born and brought up in India. However, we did get a chance to spend a significant amount of time in the US as well. As part of our work, we lived there for around 6 years, and then we said, look, we will probably get into a permanent resident path rather than being work visitors to any countries. And that's how we ended up getting a PR for Australia. And we came here 4 years ago.
Awesome. So I think, and that's why, wanted to chat with you because I know a lot of people in the country for 10, 12, 15 years and, and just 4 years for you as a migrant. And now I know you have got three properties, two investment properties and one owner occupied, plus you're looking to buy more. I know you're not unstoppable, right? So, um, how all this got started for you? Like, who inspired you to invest property? Was it family, friend, some influence? And now why are you doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we definitely own investment properties back in India as well, right? We are all in this rat race, Sanjeev. So at some point in time, we said, look, we will have to probably do something for ourselves from a passive income perspective, right? And the moment you talk about passive income, there are several things that will come to your mind. For example, investing in shares, investing in investment properties, or start establishing a business for yourself. So down the line, that will start generating income for you as well. So there are a number of ways, right? However, we did our due diligence. There was a lot of learning there. We tried to educate ourselves continuously. At some point in time, we realized that investment property is the best way towards achieving passive income. And apparently we wanted to try that out. But look, as first time investors, apparently we had a lot of reluctance, right? When we started with it, the owner occupied property purchase was seamless because everyone needs a home, apparently, right? So there was no reluctance or hesitation there at all. The moment we started saving for our deposit, we were very comfortable. We got our unit 3 years ago. It took 1 year for us to save for our deposit, and then we settled our current owner-occupied property, right? Which is a unit actually, right?
Tell me about like, sorry to interrupt, like here, because in 1 year, right? I mean, so I know you and your wife are IT professionals, right? But in 1 year, like, because I know a lot of people, including me, I came to Australia, doing things. After a lot of years, I finally had the courage to buy my first property. Um, so, but for you, like coming in 12 months in a, fresh new country, while, I mean, I know it takes like maybe 12, 20, 24 months just to settle down. You bought your first unit. I mean, you live in Sydney, you got it done and dusted, move to the next one. How that all happened, because it's not something common.
Yes, of course, yes, Sanjeev. Look, fortunately, the moment we landed in Sydney, we actually started living in a suburb called Homebush, right? Homebush is very comfortable for us. It's not too far. It's not too close to the city. The moment I need to go to the city, it takes only 40 minutes max, right? And the moment I need to go to Parramatta, for example, it takes 20 minutes. So, it's a very comfortable suburb. Unfortunately, we landed there, right? We fell in love with the Homebush the moment we came here. And within a couple of months, from arriving in Australia, we said, look, Homebush is where we want to live, right? So apparently, because of that, we did not have a long shopping list in terms of looking for various suburbs and then finalizing one of the suburbs within that list, right? So the suburb was already finalized the moment we started looking for our owner-occupied property, right? So the only challenge there was in terms of saving for the deposit itself, right? Even we were very clear about the requirement of unit versus independent house. We did not want to, do really big. Rather, wanted to start with something small. In the sense, we were okay with unit because of their own advantages and disadvantages, of course. However, the only requirement that we had for a unit was that the unit needed to be very spacious. That's it, right? We were actually looking for the right property. Once we saved the deposit, fortunately, we got a call from one of the selling agents indicating that there was a new unit or the apartment opening up in 2021. So we just went and we again told the selling agent that the only requirement that we had was space, nothing else, right? So fortunately, there was one unit that suited our requirement. We were so happy with that. We were so happy with the price. We just finalized the deal the day itself, man, rather than shopping around. So yeah, everything was so fast. I don't know if everyone can basically buy into that. But we were very comfortable. At the end of the day, we started calling it home. That's it.
Awesome, awesome. I think, yeah, I think it's quite amazing. I mean, and was something going during that mind because you come to the country, still settling down. Were you nervous about like, hey, is it a good investment or going to be a good investment or it's a good purchase or where especially hearing from other friends, media.
Yeah, look, when it comes to buying a owner-occupied property, you have to put on a different hat than buying an investment property as such. Sanjeev, you know that better than me, right? For us, as I said before, we already owned houses back in India. So apparently, buying a house was not a big deal from a mindset perspective for us, right? We wanted a home for ourselves. We were actually, we did not have a longer shopping list from a requirements perspective. Fortunately, we had saved the deposit as well. So it was all about only finding the right house in the suburb that we wanted. That's it, right? From a owner-occupied property perspective, we did not have much fear. The only thing that we wanted was a nice home to live, for us to live. That's it, right? Look, I do agree that we were actually trying to settle down in the country. Yeah, everything was new. But as I said, Australia is fantastic, man. Okay, so I had visited at least a few countries in my lifetime, but I will definitely say that Australia is the best. One of the reasons why we did not have any reluctance towards buying a property as soon as we landed here.
Okay. So there's a bit of confidence visiting other countries because you have seen bit of life and the different journey places, right? But then, well done, man. Like I think what I'm getting from you is you just had simplified your life. You said, I've landed. I'm gonna live there. Let's do it, and
That's it.
no more thinking.
No more thinking. So yeah, that's it. Keep it
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, and that's where you're able to take it action, and that's where I've learned like keep things simple, and you'll
Right.
be able to focus more and act more. And I think that's what you guys did. So well done. I think, and look at now you like another 2 years gone, and now you got two properties. I think last year you bought. I think in last 12 months probably you picked up two properties.
I would say last 18 months to
18
property.
months.
Yes.
18 months. Yeah. I think you already had one investment property and the owner when you came to us and we, of course, we bought it a couple of months back. one of the another investment property. So now tell me about these properties, Sudesh, like, what sort of, I mean, so we know about your PPR, it's a unit, owner occupied, but how about the other two investment properties you secured? What are they? And
Yeah, the other two properties are independent houses, Sanjeev, right? So when we started looking for the investment property for our first investment property purchase, we wanted to do it really simple as well, right? Because we had just settled into our owner-occupied property that came at a cost, right? And of course, we did not want to do big for our first investment property, not because of that only, but because of the fear that we had from an investment property purchase perspective, right? Like anybody else would have. Yep. It was a variable. We had no experience prior in this country in terms of buying an investment property purchase. So we wanted to do it very, very small. So we approached a buyer's agent, and we basically provided our requirement as well, right? Indicating this is what our budget was, and what we were actually expecting out of the investment property itself, right? Um, a lot of education or learning went into before getting into the property purchase journey, Sanjeev, for us, right? We learned about corner properties. We learned about the other type of properties as well, duplex, etc., right? So at some point in time, we were so fascinated about buying a corner property for us as our first investment property purchase, right? So that was a requirement to our buyer's agent as well, right? So we said, look, the budget is very short. We want a corner property, so there is potential for either a granny flat construction or a duplex construction subsequently in future. Can you probably get us a property with these requirements? And of course, another key requirement was rental yield as well, right? Because I don't want to purchase a property only to end up with monthly repayments where I'm not getting anything back, right? So the buyer's agent was able to find a nice independent house in the suburb of Ormidale for us. That took a couple of months in terms of going back and forth negotiations and whatnot. But we settled that property back in 2021, second of 2021, I would say. And the next property is, of course, you know it, right? So we that's when we met. I wanted to do something a little bigger than our first property purchase. So we were able to find a very nice house in the suburb of Port Kennedy in Western Australia, right? So that we settled back in 2022, right? One of the key elements in our strategy, our property investment strategy, is that we would like to diversify the property purchases, right? Rather than putting all the eggs in the same basket, we wanted to go with different states, different suburbs, even if it is within the states, making sure that there is multi-dimensional growth for each of the properties that we purchase, Sanjeev, right? So far we have bought two investment properties to added to our portfolio. We definitely want to grow our portfolio really big moving forward as well. So we are currently saving for the deposit for our next property purchase.
Yep. Yep. No, great. And what has been the key reason personally for you to diversify? I mean, in different locations. I know, I mean, people have different reasons, but I mean, so one is, of course, mitigate the risk. But do you have any other elements to it, or?
Yeah, look, the major reason being minimizing the risk, of course. But at some point in time, we would like to, if we want to explore any other suburbs or any other states within Australia, at least we have a home there, right? So one of the criteria that we actually request the buyer's agents is that it's not just investment property, but it can be our home in future as well, right? So we put that requirement to our buyer's agent, of course. However, we are also open towards seeking feedback from the buyer's agent. For example, when I told this requirement to you, right, the first response that you provided me that I would remember is, an investment property is completely different to a owner-occupied property, right? Even though you might want to go settle down there, down the line, at this point in time, it is an investment property for you, and keep that requirement in mind is what you advised, right? So we are open for feedback as well. However, in the corner of somewhere lies a requirement always that we might go back to that home at some point in time, make it a owner occupied property at that time, right? So and that's also one of the reasons we actually look for investment properties across the country rather than buying a lot of properties within a particular suburb.
Yeah, yeah, and all the benefits of that land. I mean, not paying land tax and all those things, and all those things benefits comes irrespective, right? But yeah, I
Absolutely.
think it's like a just saying. I know I worked with another client. They bought 5 properties, and literally in five states. I would say 4 states. And it's good to see like their properties all across Australia now, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
and
You are in major ways you are actually minimizing the risk of putting all the eggs in one basket, Sanjay. That's all the
yeah.
more important because at the end of the day, it's hard earned money. I don't think you would want to risk that.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, once you have identified your asset class, which is property in this case, then within the asset class, you're trying to diversify, minimize the risk, and plus you're getting the benefits also. Like I know if you have too many properties in one estate, you end up paying land tax for no reason, and plus
Absolutely.
opportunities are there all across Australia. So why not? Um, Now let's go back a little bit back in time. You're saying you are learning all those things. So how was those learning happening? Were you googling, or you had some friends or some communities? What sort of learning and what you were involved in?
Much of the learning actually came from online materials, Sanjeev, right? And there were a few good books that we came across as well. The major education there was in terms of delineating between good debt and bad debt, right? The moment you basically say someone to buy investment property, the first question that comes to their mind is, "I don't have cash, man," right? And the response from you would be then, why can't you go for mortgage, Swadish, right? For example, right? You guys are IT professionals, you earn decently, so the banks will be willing to provide you with mortgage. So why don't you try that path? Is would be your recommendation, right? The moment I hear that, most of the people, trying to get into a property market, for example, would be very reluctant towards taking mortgage because they would say it's a debt to my portfolio, right? However, the education or the learnings that we had was to delineate between a good debt and a bad debt, right? While having a credit card would be considered a bad debt, or taking a personal loan for buying something really expensive, which is basically a depreciating asset, is a bad debt. On the other hand, buying or getting mortgage for an investment property should be considered a good debt, right? So what you are trying to do is you are basically trying to leverage, right, where possible, towards a good debt for something that will appreciate over a period of time, right? I think that education is very, very important for you to get rid of all the fear that you would have when you get started in the property investment market, Sanjay, right? So the moment we were educated about that and we were able to delineate between a good debt and a bad debt, we were very, very comfortable. And when I say we, the wife is a partner in crime as well, right? Wherever, I wanted to educate myself, I did not stop there. I pulled her in as well. So she got the necessary education, the necessary learning. So at any point in time, we were, it was a teamwork. We were able to make decisions together. We were able to question each other in terms of, any doubts that we had. So we were able to clarify, and we got rid of that fear, Sanjeev. That was the first step that I would actually recommend to everyone to take before they actually start deciding on whether property purchase is right for them or not.
Yeah, now very good. I think well said, Sudesh, and I totally agree with you. I mean, um, that's what we see. I mean, the truth is, everyone wants to do well in their life for themselves, right? But then what? And they want to take action, but then what holds them back is the fear, and the fear is a true proposition of your not knowing the financial or not having the financial education. Because once you understand, then so nobody has to tell you, hey, you need to do this or that. I mean, so you look for ways, right? And
Absolutely.
and 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 now I can now relate. When I look back, I was like surprised, like, hey, someone coming 4 years, bang, bang, bang. I mean, it's what they're eating, what they're thinking, what they're reading. And I think you just share that, right? Like, because you had that financial education through that book, through that conversation, you are knowing that I need to take that because it's a good debt, right? And you're also well aware of the bad debt which you're not taking. So I think no, it makes total sense. And
Absolutely, Sanjeev. And look, one of the advantages with you, to be honest, is the education materials that you are actually supplying. I still remember our first conversation, right? So the very first time I met you, when we started speaking about our property investment strategies and goals, the first thing that you told was you already have a set of education materials, and that it is very, very mandatory for all your clients to go through those materials, understand what is in there before they even start laying down their goals, right? Uh, I loved it, and the wife loved that concept as well, right? Educating yourself is very important, especially in this property investment journey, because you need to know what a good debt is, what a bad debt is, what you should actually expect from a property purchase, etc., etc. I think you are doing a fantastic job there, Mike.
yeah, thank you, buddy. I think, and see, now, and what I'm trying to do in the business is the same thing. What changed my life, as you know, happened with you. Same thing. And you look at all the people who are able to take action, right? It's the same common thing. It's they are educated, and that's where like education helped change my mindset. I said, wow, it's now I can do so much. And then when I got the education, taking action was very easy. Even I get surprised why where on the earth I got all those energy to take action. Even I get surprised. But then because we are educated, and I can look at you like, three property, it's not easy. But then you're able to take action because you're clear on that. And that's where I thought, what? I see the gap in the marketplace where people want to do well, but the gap is the education. So if I can put that puzzle together, the missing information, then they should be able to take action. That's why, educate them. Now we talk the same language. They know what's required, and then keep clients keep coming and they say, okay, I want to buy more, right? So I don't have to do any heavy lifting. You see, I mean, my job is done, and either they use our business or they go themselves and do themselves. I mean, it doesn't matter much, right? As far as we are able to take action and move on. So now, thanks for that, Sudesh. So now, tell me how you're now you have got all these three properties in Australia. How you feel about it, you and your wife?
Feeling great, to be honest, Sanjeev, right? Look, there is a reason why we wanted to purchase these properties. Fortunately, all these properties aligned with our strategy as well. Again, thanks to you being our buyer's agent towards guiding us throughout the last property purchase. And of course, as I said before, we are currently saving for the deposit for our next property purchase as well. Look, a well ironed out strategy definitely helps make your life easy, make your property purchase easy as well, Sanjeev. So to all the viewers, I think I would recommend that the moment they educate themselves, the next thing that they have to do is set their financial goals, set a very nice strategy, making sure that the strategy actually aligns with their financial goals, and then move forward from there. But again, coming back to your question, we definitely feel great with all the property purchases that we have made so far.
And why? And where do you think like this having, you said the financial goals, where it fits, and how it has been helpful to you guys?
Yeah, look, the as I said before, the main agenda is basically passive income and early retirement for us, right? So these properties that we have purchased apparently were negative cash flows for the first year of purchase, like any other properties, right? But the property that we purchased in 2021 already started showing positive cash flows, and I'm very sure the 2022 the Port Kennedy property purchase will be into a positive cash flow subsequently as well. Um, moving forward, that's our primary objective, right? One is the rental yield and the related cash flow, and the second one is basically capital growth. There are few properties where you can achieve both. There are few properties you can achieve either of them. We are very conscious about that, and that's part of the strategy as well, Sanjeev.
Now, my next question, which I think you have partially already answered, is like, initially, did you face any challenges to get into the investment? And I think you said, like, of course, you're going through it, but then financial education help. But I know there are all different type of challenges, like coming from parents, from friends, a lot of family members, your colleagues where we work. We are surrounded with people all the time, right? So, and media of course plays a big role. I mean, and especially when you are starting new, because a lot of is going inside. So were you facing those kind of challenges, and if so, how did you overcome that?
Look, the only challenge that we had was the initial reluctance that I and the wife had, Sanjeev, right? Both our parents are based out of India, and they don't get much involved in terms of any property purchases that we actually make, either in India or back here, right? So we did not face much challenges from a family perspective, other than we too getting ready and having that mindset towards getting started with the property investment journey, right? We did have chats with our friends here. Of course, there were positive feedback, there were negative feedback. Asking us to make sure the property was the right property that we wanted to purchase. Blah blah blah. How the capital growth would be, how the rental yield would be, what would we do if there was no rental yield for a few weeks because the current tenant vacated and we were facing challenges with getting a new tenant, etc., etc. Right? Look, again, education is necessary. I'm just going back to the basics again and again, right? As part of educating ourselves, one thing that we also learned was that we need to have emergency fund always, right? And that emergency fund is nothing new to property investment as such, Sanjeev, right? Anyone and everyone should have an emergency fund with them towards managing in terms of any emergency, not just the property investment emergency, right? So we wanted to make sure that we build an emergency fund throughout as well, in addition to saving for our deposits, right? At any given point in time, we make sure that there is enough emergency fund towards covering any of those emergencies. Let's say we are not able to find a tenant for a particular investment property for a couple of weeks, right? Having necessary insurance in place is very vital as well, right? So that was part of the learning too. What if there is a property damage caused by your tenant for one of the investment properties, right? How will you, even though you might have emergency funds, the emergency funds might not be enough to cover the damage that was caused by a tenant, right? So what would you do? You basically go with an insurance provider, making sure your property is thoroughly insured with the right excess amount as well, because that's very crucial too. There is no point in having an excess of $5,000, for example, even though no insurance provider actually allows you to have a 5,000 excess. I'm just saying that, right? So making sure you have the right excess set, right insurance covered for your property. I think all of these should be part of your education, Sanjeev. Okay, so once we actually came out of all the questions that we had in terms of a property purchase, at that point in time, we did not find ourselves trapped with any of the challenges. As I said before, the only challenge then was to save for your deposit, right? No technical challenges, because you had the enough knowledge to answer all the questions that were popping above your mind. The only challenge being saving for your deposit. That's it.
No, well said. I think literally pretty much you're saying is educate, educate, educate yourself.
Educate, exactly, mate. And right level of education is important as well, Sanjeev, right? So
Yes.
look, again, like any other part of your life, you are not going to learn everything all at once when it comes to property investment property purchase, right? So the education will be continuous. You get started with your learnings, and then you get started with your property purchase journey, and I'm very sure you will keep learning continuously. There will be continuous learning. There will be continuous improvement throughout your property journey.
Yeah, it's like life, right? I mean, it's like anything in life also, right? Like, raising kids, or, in a job or in a
Exactly.
business.
Yeah. Look, some of my friends, they're very reluctant to get into investment property purchase because they keep getting questions every now and then. The moment one of their questions get answered, there is another question that pops up their mind, and they are trying to find answers there, right? And because of that, they are very reluctant towards getting into the journey in the first place, because the major challenge that they face is, what if I do this, or what if I end up with this, right? Can I get all the learnings at once, so I'm ready to get into this journey? And my response to them is always that you can start at night, right? I think you have enough education, you have already gone through so many materials, so many books, you know well enough, right? And again, another key recommendation to my friends is that I always do that is, get a good buyer's agent, right? It is not that you always have the necessary learning with you, right? You have experts surrounding you who will be in a position to help you throughout the journey. And one of the key person that you should have in your team is a good buyer's agent like you.
I mean, see, I mean, so you have to invest, like, not only in the property, but on your financial education. And once you have got it, what if, I mean, what if is what pretty much a fear of unknown, right? Because
Yeah,
what if, I mean, it's, but you educate now. Look at now, you buying properties, even though 4 years in the country, three properties. Like, I know people, they're in the country for 10, 20 years, and they're looking for their first property, maybe
sure.
first investment property, because of what you just mentioned. What if, and they want
Exactly.
to do it, right? It's not like they don't want to do it, but what if is killing them? And the gap is the financial education. Now, you can learn from a buyer agent, learn from any expert who is doing it. There's multiple, you can have a property mentor, coach. I mean, there's a lot of people, right? But you have to find,
Absolutely.
but get ready to invest. I mean, nothing will come for free. But but then, the cost of inaction is even massive expensive, right?
Absolutely. No, rightly said, Sanjeev.
And then the regret comes, right? I mean, so now, man, I totally agree with you. And now my next question is, what quick three tips? I know you have already mentioned in quite detail, but, like, three tips you'll give to anyone, I know, looking to starting out or looking to invest further.
Absolutely, Sanjeev. Look, the first tip is, again, educate yourself. I'm not going to go over that again and again, right? But um, look, a good team is necessary as well, Sanjeev, is what we have learned throughout this purchase process, right? Um, some of the best allies are basically a good buyer's agent that you always have, because he has done the groundwork, right? You don't need to invest your time. If you have time, well and good, but no one has time. That's a problem, right? So leverage somebody's expertise, right? Similar to how you would do that as part of your work, right? If I am a developer developing a product, I won't be a business analyst. I won't be a project manager. I won't be a test analyst, right? Rather, I would probably have a very good team comprising of all these roles to make sure that I'm actually getting the product out on time with the desired quality, right? Same is the case with investment property purchase as well. A good team is very, very necessary, right? Who do you have? You yourself, right? Apparently, you have a good buyer's agent. You have a good accountant, right? You have a good financial advisor, or the accountant might play the financial advisor role as well if he is equipped with that. And of course, a good mortgage broker, making sure that your case is presented to the right bank at the right point in time, making sure that your loan or the mortgage gets approved on time. So you are not dealing with any of the penalty clauses indicated in your contract, right? So make sure to have a good team would be a tip as well. And always have an emergency fund, right? While you are saving for the deposit for your property, make sure you set aside something towards your emergency fund as well. So your emergency fund grows to accommodate your portfolio moving forward, right? And that growth should be continuous as well. It's not a one-time investment towards your emergency fund. you need to make sure your emergency fund is aligned to your property portfolio at any given point in time, right? So make sure that happens as well. So I think those I would consider as some of the key points to always remember, Sanjeev, in the investment property journey.
Yeah, no, it's applicable for everyone, right? I mean, you said educate. I mean, it's applicable for. It doesn't matter even you have got 50 properties or 100 properties. I mean, it's still, your team will upgrade. You revise your team, but at the end of the day, you need a good team always. And then third is not the reserve, right? What you said. I mean, it's your personal life, property journey, or business. You need some reserve, right, for all those days, right, where you may need them or any surprises. So I think that's definitely a good inputs, buddy. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Um, Now, getting into your, like what is your next and future property plans and how you see yourself? I know.
Yeah, look, when we laid out our financial goals and the related strategies, we said one property purchase every year, Sanjeev, right? So we are very positive that we will get into our next property purchase this year and moving forward in the upcoming few years as well. The goal or the strategy basically says that we would head against 7 property purchases in total. And at that point in time, we will actually revisit our strategy, making sure everything is aligned towards our financial goals. If needed, there will be additional purchases. There will be sales as well, based on how each of our property purchases are performing at that point in time. But short-term goal is to get into our next property purchase this year.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Now, I think one thing I want to highlight from this conversation to all the people who are either listening or watching, that you can see the clarity Swadish has got and the energy. Like, it's clear, like how it all happening, and that's where no wonder you can see the taking action is easier because it's so much clarity. So I think, and that clarity is coming because of the education. Of course, he's surrounded with good team who can feed him information, so there is no what if, what but, right? All those questions we all have. So I think, so now, good on you, buddy.
Absolutely
um
right. There will be what ifs, right? We're all human beings, right? At any point in time, there will be what ifs, but being surrounded by a good team is absolutely necessary because you have the answer there, right? So your team members can come out and then say, "Mate, yeah, what if?" And this is the answer for that, right? So don't worry, everything will be good, and this is how you address this problem statement. Let's just move on, right? And that's the support that you get by having a very good team surrounding you, Sanjay.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, see, and that's why, like they say, the smartest people always have smarter people than themselves in the group. I mean,
Absolutely.
they're always in a room where they feel like they are the the low knowledgeable, right? I know everyone is adding value to them. So I think
Absolutely.
that's where, you're always looking for it. So great one. Now, what are you doing, buddy, outside your job world? IT. I know you mentioned about your travel blog and few things. So do you want to talk about that quickly?
Yes, sure. Now the most exciting stuff, maybe, or the more boring stuff, I don't know. So we actually have a passion towards travel, Sanjeev, right? Unfortunately, the wife loves that too. The kids love that too. So we travel a lot. We travel a lot. Now that we are in Australia, the sixth largest country in the world, there's no gap in terms of where to travel at all, right? The moment I know I have time, there is place even 30 minutes away from my home that I can spend a day or two very easily, right? It's that big. So what we started doing was we wanted to actually document all our travel stories into our travel blog. Not just boring stories, but we wanted to turn it into unique itineraries, right? So the places that we have visited in Australia so far, we started documenting them into our blog. We created our own blog a few months before, started documenting the itineraries in our blog. And we are so proud about those itineraries because they are very, very unique, right? The destinations might be usual, but the itineraries are very unique, right? The blog is called Itineraries Redefined because we are redefining the itineraries, right? And we have around 15 itineraries documented so far, published so far. We are still working on publishing more itineraries in near future, actively working on that, as I say. Um, but to all the viewers, if you are actually willing to or planning to head to a place in Australia, you are actually looking for travel itineraries to get to the place, you are very welcome to visit our site itineriesredefined.com, and you can always get back to me if you can't find a place that you want to head to in the web page, but you definitely want some itineraries to travel there. Feel free to come back to me anytime. I'm willing to help you guys out. So that's something that the family is very passionate towards, and we look forward to publishing more such itineraries, unique itineraries into the travel blog moving forward. Sanjeev.
Awesome. So, but with your itineraries, you're like literally traveling to those places,
Yes,
and then writing the your personal itinerary and the experience in the
yes.
blog, correct?
Yes,
So
and the kids are very passionate towards those unique travel destinations as well. For example, on the New Year's Day, we actually visited South Point in Victoria. South Point is the southernmost point of the Australian mainland, Sanjay. And the only way you can access South Point is via a 40-kilometer hiking. And it's because it's very remote. You need to carry everything, including your camping gears, in your backpack, right? So we carried around 30 kgs together, and we walked 40 kilometers. It was an overnight camping in South Point. It was a fantastic experience, right? In the wilderness. So, most of our itineraries will be very, very unique, and that's our specialty as well, right? There are usual destinations also. However, we would want to convert the itinerary a unique one, even though the destination is very usual, right? So that's the advantage of itineraries redefined, I would say.
looks like you're even more passionate than property in your travel than the
Oh,
blogging
of
journey.
course,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, yes. Now, and that's the fun part. I mean, see, yeah, I mean, it's property and all this wealth creation, but then this is like real life, enjoying every day. And I think the best part I can feel is like when you go to these places, experience them, you're writing them, you're so grateful, you're sharing your heart, right? Um,
Absolutely right.
so now good. And I think you have little ones, right? I mean, so you're doing with the small kids. How
Oh,
old are
yes.
they?
The younger one is 6 years old, and she did that 40-kilometer hiking, man.
Yes, exactly. I think so. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, good.
Now,
I
very,
think
very fortunate that the entire family supports the travel passion.
yeah, and I think that the best way to learn about all this. I mean, yeah, I know. I'm gonna definitely read, go through your own blogs and dig into it. I mean, so I've seen that, but I'm gonna read more
Thanks, man.
as you're adding. So, and we'll share to our audience as well. Now, no, any final words for the investors looking to invest in the current market? Rate of interest is
Absolutely
going
right.
up, a lot of fear.
Lot of fear, lot of fear. Yes, if you ask me if I would invest, there will be a little moment of hesitation, but the answer will be yes, for sure, right? Because I'm equipped with the knowledge at this point in time. So the one thing that I would tell our viewers or recommend our viewers towards getting started with the investment property journey is don't wait for prices to drop. Don't wait for the rates to drop. Don't be scared when prices go up or stay up, right? Just get started, right? So time is of essence. You are not going to end up with a scenario where you purchase something and then you completely lost it because the prices went down, right? There had never been a story like that. Okay, the prices will always fluctuate. The market is completely out of our control. That is something that we can't control. We know that, right? Only thing that we can control is our investment, right? So make sure you equip yourselves with knowledge, necessary knowledge. As I said before, form a good team. The good team should be comprised of yourself, your buyer's agent, your accountant, your financial advisor, and your mortgage broker. The moment you form a good team, you don't need to do anything other than saving for your deposit. The rest will be taken care by your team. because that's what I mean a good team is, right? The buyer's agent will make sure that he finds a good property for you. The accountant will make sure that all your financial setup are complete. Your mortgage broker will make sure that the timely submissions of your loan applications happen with the right bank at the right point in time, making sure you are not ending up with any financial clauses, etc., etc. And that's pretty much it, right? And of course, your solicitor towards the settlement of your property and any legal aspects as well, right? Don't wait for prices to drop. Just get started straight away.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's the game to be now being in that, how long you're in the market for, right? I mean, it's not like timing the market. I want to buy. I mean, we already have a good housing crisis, right? Rents are going up. So, but
Exactly.
yeah, no, well said, Matt. Now the final, where people can find you. I think you mentioned about your website. But if someone is to reach you, for the blog conversation or anything they want, what is the best way people can reach out, Sudesh?
They can look. You guys can feel free to contact me at itinerariesredefined@gmail.com. And give me a call anytime, right? 0431845127. Feel free to give me a call. I'm willing to help you guys always, anytime.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, thank you so much, Sudesh. Really appreciate your time, and you have shared a lot of nuggets, and I'm sure it will help a lot of people to take some action. So, now, thanks again.
Now, thank you so much, Sanjeev, for having me here. Thanks for the wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Now, pleasure, buddy. Now, have a good day.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope you enjoyed and learned something new from this episode. Please don't forget to review our podcast and tune in every Tuesday 8 a.m. Sydney time to listen to all our inspirational guests and learn from their property journey. In case you're looking for help with your property investment journey or building a property portfolio, please visit our website www.investorsdream.com.au to learn more about us and our services. And feel free to book a call from our website for a friendly chat. Have an awesome life and happy property investing.